Hello, dear friends. Thank you for joining me today on our open tutorial. I am Alina and I'm certified instructor of Neurographic. On my website, you can find various courses, and my YouTube channel, there are plenty of free tutorials like this one that you are welcome to explore and follow. Today we're going to draw the solar eclipse. However, it doesn't have to be. This drawing can be done anytime. It doesn't have to be a specifically day, a specifically solar eclipse day, or full moon, or new moon, or combination of any. This practice can be done anytime. So you can see I prepared dark paper. I'm going to draw white with white marker. And of course, this can be done on a regular white paper with any marker you want. So to begin with, I would like to introduce a little bit of why we're drawing in this specific day and the practice that I explained based on this astronomical phenomena. If for a regular new moon, we will be drawing something beginning like starting a new project, because a new moon is a good time to begin a new project. But today I would like to draw something that happens on this specific day. It's called solar eclipse. And why is it so important? So solar eclipse that happens only on new moon. So what happens is when the Earth, the moon, and the sun are aligned. So when the moon passes in front of the sun, it casts a shadow on the Earth. And this appears as the moon blocks the sun. There are different partial solar eclipse and full solar eclipse. There are also partial solar eclipse when the shadow covers only part of it, and it's a full solar eclipse when the moon covers, it's optical illusion depending on where it's located, covers the entire surface of the sun, and then you can see only corona, it's called astrologically. Do not mistake it with a virus. Normally, if we were new moon, we would do something at the beginning of a new project, because it's auspicious time to begin a new project, start something new on a new moon, and energetically. But what happens? So the moon is associated with energy which is passive, nourishing, and more like feminine. As emotional. And the sun is always active, dynamic. This is passive. So, and instead of showing with the moon, this passive energy is low, it's better to start something new with the sun. But so what happens? That this energy, the moon, covers the sun. It covers this energy. So this is a good time, an auspicious time, to stop, to think about it before beginning a new project, to use this opportunity to think what prevents you from moving forward. And that's what I'm going to do today in our class, short class, and trying to raise those subconscious thoughts that I'm not aware of, to understand what prevents me from moving forward in the direction I would like to move. And I would like to begin with the moon and the sun. So I would like to be precise in this, and you can draw a circle by hand. It doesn't matter. So the first, I would like to show that there is some circle that symbolizes my is a astronomical phenomenon. I can be very precise, and I will just use it a plate because I would like to make it nice, and I outline it. Here's I have a circle. This represents this period of time when I would like to focus on. I focus on a specific area. So this circle represents a frame within which I'm going to work. And this darkness represents subconscious mind. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm looking for. Then apply a neurographic line. Before we continue with our drawing, I would like to explain to those who are completely new to Neurographica what we're going to draw. And there are two elements of Neurographica that I would like to explain, actually three. They're the neurographic line, a shortened neurographic line, the principle of rounding, and connection. So what is the neurographic line? In my courses, I explain in depth what the true neurographic line is, how to draw it. But to complete this exercise right now, I would like just only to show in the more simplified way how we're going to draw it. In reality, the neurographic line is much more difficult to draw than it appears. Please remember, it's not just intuitive line. It's not just the line that where you can continue, make it, and then, oh, okay, there's the line. It's intuitive, and I can draw whatever I want. No, this is not the neurographic line. The neurographic line is the line that doesn't repeat itself, and we extend it where we did not expect to see it. This means that when you draw the line, you move the hand. So micro movement, maybe a little bit more. So the line doesn't repeat itself. So this area doesn't resemble this area. It can resemble, but it doesn't. Make sure that it is not the same. And this area is not the same. So why we do that? It's because we want to bypass the analytical, the conscious mind. And the conscious mind, what more important for the mind is control. Is to know where to go next. It doesn't like the question mark. It wants to be definite and know how to control it. Because if it doesn't know what it's next, it becomes confused. So that's why confusion happens when, and such a feeling of being desperate, being not know what to do is probably the most difficult for the human mind feeling. When the mind doesn't know, cannot control. So this frustration happens when we cannot control something. So with the line that we want to do is to bypass the analytical mind and go straight to our subconscious mind. So then you make sure you can pause this video and to practice a little bit drawing this neurographic line that doesn't resemble itself. So what happens if we decide to draw the line just to let our hand to draw? It will fall into habit and will create a pattern that something is similar. Like for example, many of us experience when we talk on the phone and we take a pencil or pen and a piece of paper and start something like create patterns. And by this, we'll just reinforce what we already know, and the mind is happy. In this exercise, in the method of Neurographica, we want to bypass it and to go deep to our subconscious mind, because that's where our power is. And whether we want to change something or whether we want to reinforce, they have to do it. Yes, we're using our analytical mind to do this exercise, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we can also bypass patterns that may prevent us. Why we want to bypass those patterns right now, especially in this exercise, in this tutorial, how many times we wanted to change something. The mind says, yes, I would like to, let's say, do exercise, physical exercise every morning for half an hour. And something that we don't want to change, something that prevents us from changing. Why? The mind says one thing and we can't overcome it. We can't do that. There is something more powerful force that restrains us. And that's what we're going to do in this exercise. We'll try to erase those thoughts from the subconscious mind and identify them and to work with them. I know it's not understandable, it's not possible to explain this in this simple half an hour or an hour lesson, but you're welcome to explore more. And also I recommend to viewing and listening to the Pyramid of Consciousness, which is a video available on my free video that explains why it's so important and why we want to access the subconscious mind. Now, the principle of rounding. It's another very important element of Neurographica. So what? Imagine the two lines, and you probably know, you've seen in Neurographica that something looks like this. So everything looks softer. There are two reasons why we want to make it this appearance. First is to show connection. Also, we're drawing here on two-dimensional space, but everything exists in three dimension. So we don't know, if we look at those lines, we don't know exactly whether they appear on paper like this, but whether they're in different planes. And this element of rounding shows that the two lines are connected. And the more connected in each line, in Neurographic representing thought, an impulse of our brain that produced this line. And the more connections we have, the more connections like this, the more thoughts are connected, the more lines, the impulse is connected, the more power, energy we have to approach and deal with our question or problem. The second one is very, very important. Imagine now that we're the circle. You probably heard, the power of circle. The circle represents a perfect figure. It has no beginning, no end. It's infinite, it's perfect, it's symmetrical. And anything round, it looks safe because we can't hurt ourselves. The triangle is just the opposite. These sharp corners suggest that they may be something we may hurt ourselves just by touching them. For example, anything sharp, a sharp corner, a sharp object always triggers our emotions, if not negative, but at least a sense of danger. And that goes long, long time ago. It's like our instinct to stay away. So what happens in neurographic, imagine that we have two lines, and those corners represent sharpness, like danger. And now we use our hand and we create it almost as a rounding, it's almost like a circle. So the mind imagines complete the circle, and suddenly this element changes into something positive for us. What appears to us, it's our perception. We do not have to draw the circle. Please remember that since the mind wants to complete, to see something whole, it will add a circle, maybe smaller or bigger. And that's important because we use our own hand to change something that may appear slightly negative, and where the mind does not want us to proceed. It will try to make us to turn. And once, with our own hand, with our own willpower, we add this element, everything becomes safe. The mind perceives it as safe route to follow. So this is about the neurographic line, rounding and rounding in a nutshell. Connection is what it is one small thing. It's for example all the elements that are present here. In neurographica, it shows that there are no separate elements on the drawing, and we just use the neurographic line to connect all of them. So in the neurographic line and neurographic art, drawing neuro art, there are no separate objects, they're all connected. That shows interconnection of everything in the world, like a line of consciousness connect. So there are the basic three elements that we're going to use in our drawing today. Here, this is my dark area, as so-called my symbol of a subconscious mind. Dark because we can't see inside of it. Here's my frame, which is a solar, the moon that covers the sun. And I would like to find out, so I will use one probably white marker. You're welcome to do the same exercise on white paper with any color marker you want. And I use, it's almost like I'm drawing the lines, just simple neurographic lines, finding. So as long as I'm imagining that I'm let my thoughts rise from that darkness and be illuminated by the light of my consciousness, of my conscious mind, my analytical mind. Just make sure that I just keep on drawing by hand. I'm drawing those neurographic lines. Of course, it's imaginary that it's from bottom up, but I want to, it's like overcoming resistance of gravity that I'm drawing them from bottom up. I have certain elements, I don't know what, my thoughts, my past actions, that prevent me from moving in a direction that I want to move. And I would like to identify them. I would like to use this pose that presented by nature itself to Let them rise if it's possible and identify them. When they are manifested and I can identify them, I will be able to deal with them. Also, I suggest if you can use the left non-dominant hand. In my case, it's my left hand, to create something more unusual. It's normally I draw with my right hand. Now I will try my left hand. See whether the other marker works better. I think I'll try silver. I think the black marker, the white marker works better in this case. How many lines? I don't know. I will just keep on drawing as many as I would like. And this moment when you are drawing them, please focus on your experience. Observe yourself, observe your hand. So pay attention where you line it. When you draw your line, and what you're experiencing in the moment. It's almost like you're taking yourself out of this picture and you're observing yourself. So I will pause my video and I will draw for a few minutes, and we'll meet in a few minutes. We have drawn enough lines. If you find that you like enough, we're looking for the areas that the intersection. The more lines connect in one area. Why is it? Because if we thought about it, every line is connected to a thought or impulse of our brain, we would like to find this area where the most impulses connect, more connections, where this more connections means more energy. And I circle, create one circle, like for example this one. And then in this circle, I assume that there is identified as a circle. That whereas I have my possible answer to my question. There's also another one that's here. I feel like it's a little smaller. Circles can touch, intersect, can overlap. And another one here. There are probably more areas, but I decided that 3 are more important. Now, next step, when you identify these areas where your possible answer to your question. In my case, it's not so the question, but I would like thoughts, belief, opinions. I don't know what prevents me from moving forward. I would like it to arise and to be identified. So if I identified, I would like it to be revealed. I would like to use this before moving forward. I would like this energy of dark, passive energy of the moon effect before the rising sun reveal, like raise them, reveal them, and then when the sun appears again, I would like to deal with them. And those who know neurographic enough, you know that we start rounding those intersections. You can draw double lines, and we'll start with the circles because they are more important. More important as we identify them as possible areas. Where our answer, where we wanted either your answer or your issues that you want to be revealed. And again, if you start rounding, you can help yourself by being conscious in the process and observe what happens. You need to be very vigilant to understand what is happening, not to miss those moments when your answer to your question will be revealed. It's very important to stay conscious to the changes that are happening within you, and they're definitely happening because every time I draw something, more connection happens. Also, I connect the circles with the lines between. If it's very tight, you can just make one stronger connection for a few lines. You can continue drawing lines. I will pause this video for a little bit and I will continue rounding. And I switched my drawing tool from white to silver. I feel like a silver. It's more white. It also shows the light of the light, but I felt like I wanted to use silver. And also it looks better and stronger. But the idea is not about what color, because there is a certain association. So you're welcome to use any color you want, any color, what feels good. The most important, not so much the color, but the lines. You may wonder whether it needs to use only circles. Not necessarily. Actually, I would like to feel like I would like to include a triangle. Triangle that shows also force, like energy, like upward. I decided right here, and all I can do is just to use my intuition. So I trust my hand, and I drew this triangle. So that's probably something that's happening in this area because it includes both the circle and triangle. Triangle I use it just to, you can use it or you don't have to use it. It's just I felt like I needed to add a little bit more energy to those circles. Everything is so now rounding and I needed extra dynamism, extra force. Lines. Continue connecting the lines with the figures so everything to make stronger connection as possible because the connection is really, it depends. The connection that shows our force. The force is in the connection, interconnection. So of course, rounding I do with my right hand. I will continue drawing on my own. So with the help with my energy, my thoughts, I'll just repeat if I need to repeat the outline again. I just show more from the bottom up. So I repeat this movement. So every time I draw it from the bottom up. With more work, more lines, more rounding. I just love this area, something appealing about it. To work a little bit more on my triangle. To strengthen it. A little bit more connected. Now I created all those lines and intersections, rounding lines as well as circles. Now I can work on the lines that intersections that are outside of the circles as well. And also attach by means of rounding corners. I will also attach this triangle becomes part of the drawing. Maybe not all the intersections, but the main one, the thickest lines. We will continue working in this way. I will not finish this drawing right now. It will take me a little bit longer to finish it. I want to make it thoughtful and to think about it. If anything else and additional elements I'd like to include additional elements. So I was outlining that's my outer frame, which is the indication of that period of that solar eclipse. Also connecting it, connecting the lines. Or maybe not, maybe it's not necessary. So it's up to you. The rounding is done for you to feel comfortable, to feel connection. It's up to you on this level how much rounding you need to do. I can also use my white marker and start, for example, here I would like to show that it's more important area for me. So create a little bit of tone lighter. So this is the light of um, consciousness, the daylight, the sun. So I will work longer on this one. It's not the end of my drawing. And when I finish, I will show the final result. I will include it on this at the end of this video. Meanwhile, I will continue drawing. And I will reconnect again in a few minutes, and I will show you. Maybe not in a few minutes, so maybe it takes a little bit longer for me to finish it. But I do not expect results right now. I will, since everything is connected to my subconscious mind, I'm not expecting any results appear, any insights appear now. It probably will take a day, especially night sleep, when this something insight can emerge. This is my final drawing. As you can see, I finished it with gold painted. Just this gold paint is just a decoration to indicate the solar light around it. And then the main emphasis, of course, in the line and this. I made this circle in the middle stronger, as probably more lines connect here, so more lines. And I hope that I will find the answer to my question, solution, sometime it's during the next few days, maybe tomorrow, maybe a few days after sleep, as I just shading with a white pencil. If you don't have, if you were drawing on the regular white paper, that's not a problem. The most important is the lines and how you thinking about it, what your feelings, when your observation, your attention to yourself, and whether you're using dark paper, colored paper, or white paper, it doesn't matter at all. It's just a light. That's one decoration. But for me, the focus is on this area, and I made it stronger with a thicker line and a little bit of shading. This area is more like moving energy. This triangle shows movement of the energy, like up. If you know, there's some other elements in the neurographic, if you know, will feel like, but we will not talk about it yet. Okay? So I wish you all the best. Thank you for joining me today in our session, and good luck with your drawing. Thank you very much.